Hey guys, it's Lou here from Aegis After Action, and today's podcast episode we're going to be addressing 3 bills, seeing where their status are, how they benefit first responders, veterans, and their families. I'm joined today by our artificial intelligence assistant, Athena, and we're excited to work together today for the first time and educate you guys on what these new policies are and whether they're even going to be effective. We hope that they will be, but we will give you honest feedback today on the show. We're going to start off with HB 14. And Athena, if you could give everybody, the listeners, a brief rundown on what HB 14 is.
I'll check the current summary. HB 14 would repeal Alaska's Catastrophic Illness Assistance Program and related medical assistance for chronic and acute conditions. It's not targeted to first responders or veterans, and it doesn't add a new family benefit. It mainly removes older programs, so the key issue is whether people who once relied on them have another safety net.
So are we looking at right now, because I understand that it was for firefighters, it expanded workers' compensation, presumption for specified respiratory disease, cardiovascular events, and cancers. And it looks like the post-service window has been doubled. The required Alaska service periods drops from 7 years to 6, and qualifying exams move to every 2 years schedule during that initial service period. How do you explain that to the average listener, the stakeholder in this, the family members, the patient, the firefighter or the police officer that's dealing with this?
I'll check that carefully against the bill number. The provisions you described sound like a meaningful firefighter workers' comp expansion, which doesn't match HB 14's repeal. Let me sort the bill number so we label it correctly. Quick correction, you had the right bill. HB 14 updates presumptive workers' comp for firefighters and became law in July. In plain terms, if an eligible firefighter develops a covered cancer, respiratory disease, or qualifying heart event, the claim starts with the assumption the job contributed, which makes claims easier for families. It lowers the service threshold from 7 years to 6. Adjusts exam timing, and extends post-service coverage to 6 months per year worked, up to 10 years.
All right. Is there any mention of other first responders, such as troopers or police officers or village public safety officers?
I'll check the covered groups. No. HB 14's new protections apply to eligible firefighters, not troopers, police, or VPSOs.
Wow. Then it looks like there's been some misleading information out there because the changes were supposed to include troopers and other law enforcement. In particular, some scenarios that have happened. I myself was injured on the job during a shooting. There are other troopers that have been injured from shootings and stabbings. And under the Tier 4 retirement program, what ends up happening is you're forced to leave work because they really can't offer you anything to do if you're injured and incapacitated, unable to return to work. So then what you have is there's no retirement. It's Tier 4. So Tier 4 is essentially a 401k retirement system that you've contributed to, and the state matches your contributions after 5 years. If you get injured prior to 5 years, the state has made no contributions. You are stuck with the $20,000 that you submitted to this retirement program, and that's what you're supposed to live off of, according to the way things stand right now. The same with, let's say, you want to, well, actually, let me change speed here. The other issue that's going on is, let's say your injuries require you to apply for early Social Security. Well, as a firefighter, police officer, state trooper in the state of Alaska, we do not contribute to Social Security. We pay into what's called SBS. So you've essentially been eliminated from Social Security as well. Are you seeing anything where the legislature is even remotely trying to address that?
I'll check that. Yes, that gap is what House Bill 210 and Senate Bill 205 are trying to address. They would raise the occupational disability benefit for peace officers and firefighters, including people in Tier 4. The proposal raises the benefit from 40% to 75% of final pay after year 1, which directly helps with a career-ending injury when there's no Social Security to bridge the gap. But it hasn't passed. HB 210 was left in House Finance, SB 205 in Senate Finance. I'm not seeing a past fix for the Tier 4 disability or SBS situation yet.
All right. Well, let's move on to HB 17 and how House Bill 17 helps or doesn't help veterans in the state of Alaska.
I'll check HB 17 for veterans' impact. HB 17 targets a specific group, Alaska public employees who are disabled veterans. It would allow a qualifying vet with a VA finding of total and permanent disability to receive a lifetime normal retirement benefit. So the idea is meaningful for that narrow group, but it's still just a proposal. It passed the House and is sitting in Senate Finance. So no new benefit is available unless it becomes law.
All right. Under, well, let's see. First off, for anyone that's listening or watching this, if you go to aegisafteraction.com, that is aegisafteraction.com, and click on the news desk, you'll be able to follow along with us on these bills and what we're looking at. We also have actual links to the original legislation. But continuing on, so it sounds like House Bill 17, it's going to let a terminated Alaska public employee with at least 5 years of credited service claim a normal retirement benefit at any age when the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs has rated that person permanently and totally disabled for a service-connected condition. That doesn't sound like Alaska is actually stepping in to do anything. It's just staying out of the way of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Am I reading that right, or am I mistaken?
I'll check that detail carefully. You're partly right. It uses the VA disability finding rather than creating a new state medical review. But Alaska is still stepping in. The VA establishes the disability. This bill makes that VA finding trigger a normal Alaska retirement benefit at any age with 5 years of credited service. That's a real state retirement consequence, not just standing out of the way.
Okay. And this one is still in Senate Finance, is that correct?
I'll check the current status. Correct. It passed the House and remains in Senate Finance, so it's not law yet.
Yeah, I would think that this one would be a big one. This one would be of great benefit to our veterans in particular, but even the first responders.
Exactly. For disabled veterans with Alaska Public Service credit, HB 17 could be a major protection. For first responders who aren't qualifying veterans, the more direct bills are HB 210 and SB 205.
All right. And finally, the national retirement access without waiting for age 6. No, I'm sorry. The national one is the First Responders Wellness Act, which I believe is S666. I'm not too happy with that selection and the bill number, but it is what it is. Can you explain that one?
Sure. S666 would create a dedicated national hotline, peer support, and referrals for first responders and their families, and connect them with clinicians who understand the job, while coordinating with 988. It's still only introduced, so those services don't exist from this bill yet.
So law enforcement can still contact 988, but they have no confidentiality protection at this point. Is that the way I understand it?
Not exactly. 988 is confidential, but that has limits like imminent danger or legal process. The worry is that 988 isn't a first responder specific service. The Wellness Act would add a dedicated, peer-informed pathway for responders and their families.
Okay. And then I understand that right now it's private organizations that are stepping in to fill that gap for now. Like I think there's a Blue Line Association that's doing some of that work. I might be mistaken on their name.
It's mostly private, nonprofit, and peer support groups right now. I'm double-checking the exact organization name so we cite it correctly. Yes, you may be thinking of the Blue Line Network, which helps first responders with PTSD and educates families, and Blue Help is also active. Those are private and vary by capacity, which is why the federal proposal aims to add a consistent national first responder specific option.
Okay. This is where we ask our listeners to continue contacting their lawmakers to make sure that this is one of those acts, or one of those acts that becomes a law immediately. This is something that, I mean, the suicide rates for veterans right now is over 22 per day. I believe suicide rates for first responders, it's kind of hard to determine an actual number because it's not really tracked officially, and it could be mixed with the veteran numbers because many of the first responders are also veterans. What type of numbers are we looking at for first responders in terms of suicide, PTSD?
One correction for the show. There isn't a single official daily count for first responder suicides. Occupation is often recorded inconsistently. A CDC-linked review found hundreds of deaths across some states over several years, but it's not a full national total. A responsible way to say it, for PTSD, studies estimate roughly 8 to 32% of first responders have symptoms, depending on the job. For veterans, the VA reports about 17.5 suicides per day in 2023, not 22.
Alrighty. Well, we definitely need to keep an eye on these for the listeners. You guys are not alone. 988 is available. 988 is confidential, and it is available 24/7. We have links to resources here on the website as well. The fight's not over yet. We have to continue the fight for these basic benefits that, first responders, for me, 28 years of military and first responder experience, I can say with authority that we view things and have been exposed to things that the average citizen has not. And it can be tough to deal with that stuff. In my case, I also investigated numerous child crimes, and crimes against children, in my humble opinion, is probably one of the most traumatic things to deal with. And then you add the complication of the legal system, where you get a kid that's injured, and then the DA dumps the case because of some motion or some legal hiccup, and now this kid is left without justice. So I understand where people would, in this profession, whether it be veteran, any uniform profession, first responder profession, where PTSD is just prevalent, and people are not stepping up and asking for help because it's so stigmatized still. I hope that anyone who's listening will consider reaching out for help if you need it. Share this information with those that you love, those that you think might need this help. And we will see you on the next episode. Take care.